Police reform is under the microscope again after footage of Tyre Nichols' violent arrest was released. The 29-year-old died 3 days after a Memphis traffic stop. Earlier today, my colleague Ed O'Keefe spoke with New York City Mayor Eric Adams about the state of law enforcement in the U.S.
You've seen the video, and you approach this obviously as somebody who used to get, as you said, beaten by police, became a police captain, and now essentially oversee the police. Did you watch the full video?
Yes, I did. It was in sections. And I think it's right, as you stated. People sometimes see that Eric was a former police captain. I was asked to go into policing. I was assaulted by a police officer that traumatized me as a 15-year-old child. But it was not until Reverend Herbert Daughtry and the killing of Clifford Glover, a 10-year-old shot by Officer Shea, another young man, Randolph Evans, Arthur Miller. There was a series of these incidents that civil rights leaders came to me and said, go inside police and fight from within. I did that. I followed that. But that is the origin of how I got involved. When I saw the videos, there were several aspects that resonated with me. First, we have to be very careful on how we modify police practices, because there are bad guys out there that enjoy taking away resources from police officers and dividing our communities. And we can't fall into that trap. We have to be extremely strategic to continue to stop some of the harmful acts that dangerous people are doing. But at the same time, police must reach the level of professionalism that we expect of them.
How do you think the president's doing? Should he run for re-election?
Heck yes. You know, look at the field on the other side. You know, you have to get on your knees every day and say, God, don't let us go backwards. He's moving us forward. He cycled us through COVID. He cycled us through monkeypox. He's cycling us through the economic challenges. The guy is just leading. He's leading from the front. And having him for 4 more years is going to be a blessing to this country. We're going to keep moving in the right direction.
And why do you think so many Democrats say publicly, privately to pollsters, I don't want him to run again?
Every Democrat I speak with is saying they believe that he's moving us in the right direction, and he's sharp as attack. When I speak with him, I'm seeing his energy is there. And you know what? We can only pray that at his age, that we're still as sharp, movable as he is. He's a blessing to older Americans on how you can continue to contribute to the greatness of the country. He's a symbol of the resiliency of this country, and I'm proud to have him as the president of the United States. And when I'm around him, I still feel that energy. I feel that excitement. And you know, my mother used to say, "Look a man in the eye, and you'll know who they actually are." And when I look him in his eye, he is red, white, and blue all the way, and that's what we need.
And CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins us with more from New York. Ed, I thought it was interesting that he tackled the age issue head on, almost without you even asking about it. The White House will be delighted to know that there's at least one Democratic official who is not publicly wringing his hands about the president's age.
As I said to the mayor after that answer, I said, you might as well go write the speeches for him, because that was an interesting way of characterizing what is, and what polling continues to show, is a concern, especially of Democratic voters, that perhaps somebody else should be doing this because he might be too old to do it. But, you know, making an argument for resiliency is certainly one I hadn't heard before, and I think one that the White House, you're right, and the soon to officially form Biden 2024 campaign will be happy to hear.
I thought that your conversation with him about policing was so interesting, particularly because of his backstory, the fact that he himself had suffered at the hands of police. He talked a lot about what shouldn't be done. He said we shouldn't be taking resources away from police, shouldn't necessarily be taking powers away from the police. What does he think should be done, and should it happen at the federal or state and local level?
He is very much interested in ensuring that police forces across the country, and in New York specifically in his case, are recruiting from within communities of color to find the next generation of law enforcement. His argument is that if the best and brightest are recruited into education and business and medicine, Why isn't law enforcement doing the same? And he is an example of that. He reminded me that after he was beaten by police as a teenager, after he had begun his career, he was approached by some in his community who said, you really should go into policing. He did. He became a captain. That led to his political career and gives him this unique perspective as one of the few mayors or executives really in the country who has served in law enforcement and who can watch that video of Tyre Nichols' beating and ultimate death from the perspective of the officer, but also the person who was assaulted by officers. And that was part of why we wanted to talk to him about it. And he's certainly somebody who I think many across the country are going to continue to listen to on this issue, given those unique experiences. And he can also point out that some of that, more aggressive deployment of police officers, especially, for example, in this city's subway system, has helped drive down at least subway-related crime, even if there are other examples of crime across this city and other big cities across the country.
Right. New York has its own interesting history when it comes to empowering the police, taking away some of those powers, and then bringing them back in the face of higher crime. Ed O'Keefe, a really interesting interview and a really important voice at this moment in time. Thank you so much.
Take care.